Beware of triangulation amongst women. Hi guys, welcome back to Clare's Kingdom, where we talk facts, walk fierce, and remind the world that well-behaved women rarely make history.
You wake up, house up, run around in it, flossing on it. This diamond, my diamond, this rock, my rock. I woke up like this. I woke up like this.
So today, this is kind of like I won't say part 2, but an extension of the video I made about women friendship groups, about how things are not always as they seem from the outside looking in. And I already introduced the story about how I was working with a group of women to complete a project, and there was just a lot of hidden group dynamics. There was a lot of subtle triangulation that I'm going to unpack today. And I'm sure we've heard about men triangulating women, trying to get women kind of turn on each other, but they do it in a subtle way where it's like they'll tell one woman one thing and then the other something else, and the next thing you know, the women are all, planning against each other, going against each other without knowing the full picture or the full story. So I've kind of taken that and applied it to women because I've seen it firsthand. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the way to 300 subs, and yeah, welcome to all my new subscribers. I hope you're here to stay. And yeah, let's get into it. So, girl groups, women groups, so many hidden dynamics, so many unspoken prices, having to shrink, having to play a role. Like many systems, there's a scapegoat, there's the leader, there's the quiet one, the delegator, the mediator, there's so many different roles. But what does it mean when it's not even a real, like a group, a friendship group or family group? What if it's just something temporary, like in a workplace dynamic, or if you're in school, university? What if it's just working with a team? How does this manifest? So when it comes to triangulation amongst women, I think the main behavior it stems from is the switching up behavior based on who is in the room, or switching up tone, demeanor based on who's in front of you and who is not. So like I mentioned in a previous video, I was working with a group of women to complete a project, and long story short, there's about 4 of us, and me and one of the other women were basically like the dominant, forces who were actually carrying the grunt of the work, right? And honestly, I was at a place where I just wanted to get this thing done. Like, I didn't even care if I had to do most of it. I was willing. If I had to ensure everything got done, that's just the part I had to play just to get this over and done with. And this woman, who I assumed we were aligned, especially when we found out the other members weren't being as hands-on, and it felt like we had to chase the other members to fulfill their part or do their role. And this woman, like I said in the previous video, if you guys haven't watched it, the story basically was how I chose a group that I didn't have any relational ties to, and who seemed very coherent, put together on top of it from the outside. So I chose to join that group, especially because I assumed they already were a kind of solidified group. So I just assumed they'd probably lead the way or take grunt the work and be delegating to me, because obviously I'm kind of like an outsider joining their group. So of course I was surprised to find that there wasn't really any sort of collaboration among them, and I ended up having to take one of the leadership roles to make sure things got done. Like, if I wasn't reaching out, putting things together, things would have probably just not have got done. So this other person in the group was could even say even more capable, or just capable as me. We were working through the project, and because this was their group initially, they were telling me how so and so, they don't do this, so and so, basically saying a lot of things that are not good. Let's just say, long story short, in regards of getting this project complete. So I was saying, you know what, let's just do this, let's organize it like this, let's tell them this and that. And we were agreed until these 2 other members came and joined us. And when I was sharing the plan, this person, the woman I was working with, proceeds to say, you know what, it's fine, you guys have to do that, I can do it. And obviously, imagine my surprise when it's like, I've kind of basically laid out what's going to happen, and then the person or the woman that we agreed to what would happen with the project basically backpedals and kind of like shrinks and says, no, it's fine, she will do it. And obviously, because I'm the one pushing back on it, saying, no, like, let's just do it like this, it looks like I'm the one that's being controlling or mean, or Machiavellian, you could say. Like, it was just, I hate being put in positions like that because it's like, we agreed on something. Why are you backpedaling now that your friends are here? And I think I never really thought that part through, that because they're friends, they may have their own group politics. But it was just very frustrating from that regard, that it's like, when you're with me, you're very, logical, objective, get to a point, let's get this done. But then when you came to like the other members who were seemingly their friends, it's like they had to accommodate for their emotions or egos, or they didn't want to offend them, or maybe they didn't want to come across as pushy, whatever people label leadership of women as. And another thing I noticed that this person did, which I would really, especially if you're in the workplace, you're going into business, you're working with people, I would make sure you guys pay attention to this, is that this person would refer to me privately or indirectly. It's like they'll indirectly isolate me. And isolation isn't necessarily negative. For example, we had a group chat, right? And of course, it's a group project. There's no relational ties personally to these people. So if there's anything regarding the group project or, email thread, you put it there, right? But I found that this person would go to me privately or private message, private communicate with me. And initially there's nothing wrong with that. But when I realized this person seemingly was playing for both sides, let me explain what I mean. So with me, they seem like, oh, the other members are irrational, the other members are dragging their feet, the other members aren't as capable as us, right? Not saying I was perpetuating that, but that was like the energy or the vibe. And then what I found out was that with those members, the other members, it's kind of like they were, like, I found out that one of them was saying that they thought that me, Claire, they thought that I was mad at them because of a message I sent. Mind you, in the message, I was so polite, so kind. And all I said was, because, we had a group structure of how we're going to break it down. And then I said, okay, I wasn't home at the time, right? So I said, could you complete this part and I could check it for you if you want by the end of the day or something like that. And it was just straightforward, nothing. Like, when I tell you, I'm a businesswoman, okay? If you don't know that about me, I'm a businesswoman. I'm very efficient when it comes to communication and getting things done. I'm not going to be the person to cuddle you, hold your hands, make things sound butterflies and rainbows. But even in this situation, it's not like I was cutthroat or I wasn't reading the room. Like, I definitely still have my social intelligence, and I just sent a quick message. I wasn't sitting at a desk somewhere and whatever. And then somehow I knew, the thing about me, my intuition is just so strong. Somehow I knew that a problem was going to be made out of this, especially because of my personality type, and that when you're very introverted or very efficient, when you compartmentalize yourself as a woman, where people compare you to like men, like your work ethic is compared to a man just based on how you work and how you navigate the work environment. For instance, I'm not the type of woman to walk into a room and start talking to everyone or sharing my personal business or I can be bubbly in the right settings, don't get me wrong. Like, look at me, like I'm literally a chatterbox talking on this channel, but in real life, I give the most minimal responses, especially when it comes to work. I just want to do the work and get out. Like, I'm not trying to know your trauma. I'm not trying to get to know you respectfully. I just came here to get this done and leave. And when you have that approach or that energy, I find that it really offends people because I don't care enough. And not in, like I said, not in a, I don't care about you, but I generally don't know you enough to invest my time, energy in your direction. So I found out that this woman who I'm seemingly on good terms with in the group, apparently one of the other ladies said to her that she thought I was mad at her. And I was like, mad? Why would I be mad? This is a phone call. I'm like, why would I be mad? And she said, I don't know. But then she told the girl that if she doesn't want me to be mad, then make sure to get the work done. So in my head, I'm like, so you didn't even try to shut down that assumption. You didn't even try to shut down that idea that I could be angry at someone. But she even added to the fuel to say that if she doesn't want me to be mad to complete the work. And I just found that so odd. Like, that there is what I would call triangulation, because you're in the middle of this. We literally work together. You literally know my intention. We talked about this group project. And don't get me wrong, guys, I hold no negative feelings towards these people. This is just a very life. I think this is this is something we can learn, a very key life lesson on, to beware. And because of my observations of that situation, I made sure that even like when I was contacted privately, I would ensure to speak as if these messages were going to be screenshotted and shared somewhere. I made sure because I know how people can get. If you know how people can really take things out of context. Because, for example, when we finished this the project and we basically got feedback, they messaged me privately instead of the actual group chat, which is odd once again. But I just said yes, we did it, and then they basically said well done to you, well done, and then I said it back, and then I made sure to say well done to you and everyone else, because I know somehow if I just congratulated them, I don't know, someone just told me that it would be twisted to make it seem like I'm isolating people or I'm only commending one person. And another odd thing that I found is that even though we were a group of like 4 people, it just felt low-key like it's like people wanted me to validate things or to say like, if I think it's good, then it's good. And that's not surprising because in the most humblest of way in my life, I tend to be the person people come to make sure things are okay or to ask if something is acceptable. Like I said, I'm a very efficient person. I like to just make sure things are just done in a correct way. But yeah, I just made sure that in my messages they were very inclusive, because I was not about to be put in a situation where people are already building their narratives about being angry. Like, the thing that made me laugh is that I don't even know. When I tell you guys, I did not know these people from Adam. In my mind, it's a project. Let's get it done. Let's get on with our lives. Like, I don't know you. You don't know me. Like, I don't even know you enough to be angry at you. Like, I don't know you from Adam. But somehow people will still fill in the gaps to say you're angry at them or you're mad at them, or I don't know. And I think there are definitely other factors of why that assumption may have been made. And I'm definitely going to unpack that in other videos. But yeah, just beware of the hidden group dynamics. Beware of the person that's cozying up to you, because you never know. They could just be in the middle of things you're not even aware of. You may think someone is for you, but they're playing both sides. And I don't think people do it on purpose. I think it's just a genuine need to be digestible. You know, a lot of women feel like they need to be pleasing to everyone, so they cater to both people. They'll do and say what is necessary to be likable to whoever is in front of them, and that's not always, and I don't think it's at any point great, unless like you have to do something to get a great outcome. But the people pleasing is just not necessary. And I think as women, the more we get to a point where we value competence and efficiency versus being liked, versus being seen as digestible, or not being seen as mean, or not being seen as quote unquote bossy, we'll get much further in life. But yeah, beware of the triangulation, because it's very subtle, but you have to pick up on it. And especially in the workplace, don't let it happen to you. Don't be caught in a compromising point or positions. Don't get caught via screenshot, via call, whatever is being recorded, guys. Email. Make sure you're CCing who needs to be CC'd. Don't be messaging people you're not supposed to be messaging. Make sure the necessary parties are involved, because one thing I found in this life, people will paint out narratives. They will take one line you said and they will make it match the story that they want to tell. So just be careful. Don't be paranoid, but be careful, especially as you're climbing the ladder. Be careful, guys, okay? But yeah, if you can relate, comment down below. Yeah, very interesting one. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I woke up like this, we flawless. Ladies, tell them I woke up like this. I woke up like this, we flawless. Ladies,